2.
Well, hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Those joining us online, those on Facebook and YouTube, and all of you joining us in person. We're glad that you're here today for the last meeting, official meeting of 2025. So when you walked in, we always encourage you to grab a meeting agenda packet. That'll detail all the things that we're working on today from the commission. And if you're ever interested in the supporting documents that the commissioners have at their disposal, you can always access that online. The packet today, I think, is, as you can see on Commissioner Howe's desk, I think it's 260-some pages. So a lot of supporting documents, a lot of information in there. It's a good read. So we've got a busy schedule today and a busy day, a lot going on. So why don't I officially call this meeting to order for December the 12th, 2025. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
Invocation to be observed by a moment of silence. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, very good. Madam Clerk, next item.
Roll call. Commissioner Bubaugh.
Present.
Commissioner Wise.
Present.
Commissioner Howell.
Present.
Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Beatty.
Present. Next item.
County announcements.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Nicole Gibbs of Strategic Communications. We're going to start off with county good news. As you're all very aware, it's been a busy year here at Sedgwick County. With support from our department partners, we created a 2025 year in review that highlights key data and showcases a year of progress, innovation, and commitment to serving our community. This video minimally reflects our commitment to making Sedgwick County a great place to live, work, and grow.
busy year indeed.
Yes, very busy year indeed. We appreciate all that our partners do here at the county. Starting December 20th, we'll be sharing this and more data from departments on our social media channels. We're very witty, and we call this our 12 Days of Sedgwick County, and we want to say thanks again for making this a great year.
Yeah, it was a good year. Let me just a quick note. I think that slide and that presentation just gives and highlights a little bit about just the depth and the complexity within Sedgwick County government. The county is different than a city. We're political subdivisions of the state. We have 46 departments here. Public safety, significant public safety, public health and ComCare in the health department, public works. There's a lot that we do here on top of all the appointed positions with the elections and appraiser, the other electeds and the sheriff, the DA, the county clerk, and treasurer and register of deeds. It's just a really, we laugh sometimes at the org chart because the complexity of it, but there's a lot going on here, and that's just an indication of all the work going on behalf of the citizens of Sedgwick County and the 20 cities of Sedgwick County. So thank you for highlighting those things. It was a busy and productive year.
Yes, indeed. We enjoy it too. It's always fun for us. Okay. Sedgwick County Environmental Resources is again providing several drop-off sites for real Christmas tree recycling. After you've enjoyed your tree this holiday season, take it to one of our many locations around Sedgwick County from December 22nd through January 23rd to be converted into mulch. You can visit sedgwickcounty.org/environment for a list of drop-off locations. Last but not least, Sedgwick County offices will be closed Thursday, December 25th and Thursday, January 1st in observance of Christmas and New Year's. As always, emergency services are available by calling or texting 911. And that's all I have for today.
Okay, commissioners, any questions or comments? Tom, we're giving them off Christmas, huh? Okay, cool. Yeah, the day, yes, sir. Okay, Nicole, very good job. Appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Public agenda.
Okay, we have 2 people signed up for public agenda. Protocol here at the county is when we call your name, if you can just come up to the podium. If you can give your name and address for the public record. Our friendly county clerk here will give you 5 minutes, and we're glad that you're here today. So first up, Lori Lawrence. Good morning, Lori. Welcome.
Good morning, commissioners. You can tell why I'm here. I do support solar. When this all started, I decided I would find out from the Kansas Farmers Union where they stood on solar. So I emailed Nick Lewandowski directly because we've gotten to be friends over the last few years since he's been there. He said that the KFU does not have a particular policy, although I did find some policy on it, but the National Farmers Union does on solar and how it should be installed. And I copied off what they said in their policy statements, in their policy book. And it says, we support the development of solar energy, including solar, thermal, and agrivoltaics without excessive restrictions, which they bolded. The prioritization of agrivoltaics over conventional solar on farmland soils, and I'm assuming that you all are familiar with agrivoltaics. Requiring solar developers to treat farmers, landowners, neighbors of solar installations and communities fairly, including by requiring reasonable project transparency and fair revenue sharing. For all large-scale and utility-scale solar energy development, requiring an agricultural impact statement, which I'm assuming that has been done, that assesses impacts on all agricultural production and related businesses and support services, and strong and transparent community benefits agreements or related agreements that ensure strong community investments and benefits. They also say renewable energy storage, because we do have a battery going in here too. We support development of storage technology and infrastructure for electricity produced by intermittent renewable sources, which solar would be. And I do have that from their 123rd anniversary convention policy book that I can send you the link to if you all would like. And this starts on page 154. It's humongous. So, and then from the KFU, I did find a little bit. It said that their ag policy includes conservation programs and stewardship, renewable energy, measures to mitigate and reverse climate change, plus food, nutrition, health programs, all of these other things that they are supportive of on a national basis. There's a lot of support with the Farmers Union, and I know that one of the big concerns is farmland, and that this little bitty piece of farmland will be taken away from actual farming production. But the Farmers Union clearly supports doing this, and they would support agrivoltaics if they could, but it doesn't look like that Mission Clean Energy has found anyone to graze sheep or to plant crops underneath it, because it's different kinds of crops than what we typically grow here. So that would be a change, but I would encourage that at all costs if we can, because that's important. But that was what I wanted you to be familiar with. I can send you the links to both of those documents, and you can read through it yourself if you'd like.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Commissioners,
Thank you.
any questions or comments?
Yeah.
Okay, Lori, thank you so much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next up, J.C. Moore. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
I'm Jesse Moore. I've lived in the Clearwater area and in Hayesville, and recently I moved to Southwest Wichita, so I'm familiar with that area quite a bit. And I now live at 146 South Mays Road in Wichita. So I wanted to speak a little bit about some of the concerns. This is a rather new in this area to have such large solar farms, and many of the residents in the area are concerned about, quite a few things about the development of the farm there, and I just wanted to mention some of those. One of them is they're quite concerned about what it will do to their community, or if it will help their community. And the projection is that the taxes will change, the way the taxes are evaluated, and that Hayesville will get $13 million for the school system. Clearwater will get $16 million, and Goddard about $8 million. So it will greatly increase the tax money that goes to the schools. And since the solar farms will pay more in taxes, there's a chance that it will lower the property taxes for the citizens that live there. Some of the advantages will come a little later. They're concerned about energy prices, and right now, Evergy has proposed 2 new gas power plants to be built in South Hutchinson and near Viola, and they will cost about $35 million, and plus any fuel that they use, and that will be paid by the Kansas ratepayers, which is pretty much everybody in our county. The solar farm is being paid for by the investors, so there'll be no charge to the citizens in the county, and there are no fuel charges for solar energy. So essentially, as we need more energy, if we do that with solar panels, it will provide the energy with no cost to the ratepayers in Kansas, which I think is a great deal. There was a concern about the batteries because lithium batteries do have a tendency sometimes to overheat, and the solar company is going to use lithium iron phosphate batteries, and they're a newer type of battery, and they're not prone to overheating at all. But so it would be very rare that one of them would overheat. But to make it even safer, instead of building one big battery, they're going to build 270 little battery boxes that are interconnected. So if one should overheat, it would not set the other batteries on fire. So I think that's a good, certainly an advantage there. They were also concerned about their property values decreasing, and it may sound counterintuitive, but Virginia Tech did a study of 9 million home sales, and they found that ag land taxes tend to rise in value while urban values tend to fall in value, and that's a little doesn't seem quite right, but in the urban areas, the solar farm blocks expansion, it blocks roads, and in the rural area that doesn't happen so much. So, and usually the things I just talked about, the advantages to the community, may tend to make property values rise. But anyway, that's what they found in that. Before construction, they have to post a bond to pay for deconstruction, and if the company should fail, it would pay for that too. So, and I think that is your responsibility to see that that happens. And so, I think their concerns will be well addressed. So thank you. I do favor putting solar panels in on your homes, which is up to Evergy, and also having solar farms in the county.
Well, Mr. Moore, thank you so much. Appreciate your comments. Any questions from the commission? Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I would say, before I make a motion, is the county spent roughly 18 months working through policy around solar last couple years. And I think we're going to have a staff meeting early in January at some point in time to actually go over and remind the community, remind the commission of what our solar policies are, and to be able to work through some of these questions that are very common in the community. So be on the lookout for that, just as a reminder of what policies do exist here in Sedgwick County and the work that we did the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Appreciate it. Okay. I'll make a motion to receive and file public comment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bubaugh?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay. Next item, please.
Consideration of minutes, item A, regular meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2025.
Okay, commissioners, everyone was present for this meeting. Do we have any questions, comments, or recommended adjustments? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2025.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bubaugh?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner? Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, next item, please.
Appointments.
Okay, Mr. Wagner.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Justin Wagner, County Councilor. There's two items under appointments. Item B is accepting the resignation of HUGH Nix from the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission. Chairman, I may just make a couple quick comments on that. All the advisory boards that the county has are very important. They're all 100% voluntary. The folks aren't paid. I was an attorney who staffed the Planning Commission for a long time, so I worked with HUGH when he was on there. Just wanted to point out that out of any of the advisory boards you have, I think it's pretty much inarguable that the Planning Commission is the one that spends the most time, as the biggest time commitment. He served on the Planning Commission for a number of years as a valued member. I just wanted to make that comment for the commissioners. I think his services have really been appreciated by a lot of folks. The second item on appointments is item C, which is a resolution reappointing Hannah Baker to the Sedgwick County Solid Waste Management Committee in the first-class city position, as recommended by the City of Derby. You could make a motion to just take the recommended action on those two items.
Okay, a quick comment, and then Commissioner Howe, if you have any comments for City of Derby selection. I just want to make a comment on HUGH Nix. HUGH deserves some time. Not only has he been just a faithful steward and public servant for a really, really long time in his business career, he was always philanthropic, always showed up. He was very active in local politics, and he served. He served not only the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, he also served in the Mays Planning Commission. So HUGH Nix deserves time. This is a big, big commitment, and he is just not only has he just been a faithful servant to this community, he's a man of the highest integrity. He's just a wonderful human being. So I wish HUGH nothing but the best. He deserves some time to tend to his garden and enjoy his wife and his family. So very few, if you're watching, thank you so much for your service to Sedgwick County in this role. We're grateful for that. Commissioner Howell, any thoughts on Hannah?
Nothing other than I'm just grateful for Derby for finding a good person willing to serve in this role, and she has done a good job, and she should should be reappointed. So let's move forward.
Let's do it. Okay. Any objection if I take items B and C together? Okay. I will make a motion to take the recommended actions of items B and C.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blubois?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner? Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, on to new business. Next item, please.
New business, item D, agreement with KDOT to purchase and preserve right-of-way for the Northwest Expressway project, CIP number R328.
Okay, our county engineer and public works director, Lynn Packer. Hey, good morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Lynn Packer, your Director of Public Works and County Engineer. Item D, we are looking to, at this time, defer indefinitely. We have been working with KDOT on a extension of our contract for the Northwest Expressway that permits us to obtain right-of-way on an as-needed and as-available basis. We are in the process now of working on a major investment study and basically reaffirming the major investment study that was done back in 1998. And as a result, and further communication with KDOT, we'd like to wait until that study is complete, which will be here in 2026, and then re-engage with them about a multi-year agreement for funding of the right-of-way.
Okay, commissioners, any questions? Just a quick comment. This is we're grateful for KDOT for the major investment study that's taking place. The commission felt, and it was a reasonable request, that we wanted to make a few adjustments to the agreement to make sure that if for some reason the MIS came back in a way that this was not a viable project, that we hadn't already paid the $800,000 that we'd put into the budget for the right-of-way acquisition on the one-to-one with KDOT. So that was a reasonable request. They felt it was a reasonable request. What's equally reasonable is that we just wait for the MIS and wait to determine what that looks like and come back, and we can always revisit this agreement. But after we get the step one in this whole process at this point in time is just making sure that the major investment study, that we have that data that can inform our decisions moving forward. So we're very grateful to KDOT. Secretary Reed's been a valuable partner for Sedgwick County, and I think he'll be a continued value partner for Sedgwick County and all the projects that we have going on in our region. So I have no issues with this, and I think it's very reasonable. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Looking at item D, I make a motion to defer the agreement with KDOT to purchase and preserve right-of-way for the Northwest Expressway project.
Do we need to say defer indefinitely or just defer?
I think it might be advisable, Commissioner Meitzner.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion. I'll make a motion to defer indefinitely the agreement with KDOT to purchase and preserve right-of-way for the Northwest Expressway project.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blubois?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, Lynn, thanks for your work on this. We'll regroup here in a few months.
Very good.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item E, authorized transfer of budget authority and payment of 2025 tax foreclosure sale proceeds to treasurer holding account.
Morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lindsay Proverso, your Chief Financial Officer. So I am here today, as indicated, to try and make sure that we can make whole some folks who participated in good faith in a tax foreclosure sale. So as you know, there's a state statute, well, a series of state statutes that outlines what happens when individuals are delinquent on their real estate property taxes. That process includes identification of delinquent properties, notice to those individuals to potentially redeem their properties, and then if not, it goes to a tax foreclosure sale. In this case, all of those processes were done, and the tax foreclosure sale was held on October 21st. As the result of that sale, 81 properties were successfully sold and closed on, and just in excess of $1.6 million was received as proceeds from that sale. Because of that, sale, about $328,000 is designated for the pre-sale costs associated with the conduct of the sale. So think of the publication and notice costs, our external attorney's costs for doing all of the legwork on all of that. In addition, we had about $1,700 that was collected for deed registration filing fees. As you might imagine, the people who purchased the property want to have a clean deed to that property, so there are costs associated with that. And then finally, that leaves gross sale receipts of $1,279,656.06. When we take those gross proceeds, the gross sale receipts along with the deed registration, that brings us to $1,281,357.08. Unfortunately, despite having successful sales administered through a company called Civic Source for 3 years, this year Civic Source received those funds, but as of today, despite multiple assurances from their CFO, has still not provided those funds to the county. And so we are in the unfortunate position of having to make whole those dollars again so that those sale actions can actually be done. And so that's why I'm here as a representative of the Division of Finance to ask for the budget authority of that $1.281 million to be moved from the contingency, the operating reserve, to the Treasurer's Administration Fund Center. Those funds will then be paid, if you approve it today, into basically a clearing account for those funds to then go to the district court, so that the district court, the 18th Judicial District Court, may order how those funds are to be distributed across the various lien holders, tax delinquent entities. Bear in mind, this is not just Sedgwick County government that is affected by this. It is the taxing entities for every single property, all 81 of those that were sold, so that it could include school districts, cities, all of those folks. And so it's necessary for us to take this action with the hope that eventually through either Civic Source doing the right thing or through litigation that we are able to recover all of those funds, or at least some. So with that, you can see the recommended action is to authorize that budget transfer of the $1,281,357.08 and then authorize the payment. So I'm happy to stand for any questions. I also know we have several other folks who are involved in the process here in the audience if there's questions that you would like them to address.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate that, and appreciate all the work that's gone into this. Deputy County Treasurer Shannon Stiles is here. Do we have any questions or comments? The one thing that I do, you made a comment early that I think is worth repeating. There's a lot that's going on in this process. We do believe and hope that the county will be made whole at some point in time. But individuals that participated, these 81 properties that participated, did so in good faith. So what we are doing, because of the position that we are in, is we are going to make them whole while we're continuing to work.
Correct.
So we don't believe that they should be held up, that their deeds should be held up, that their good faith transactions should be held up, that we are going to make them whole while we continue in the process with Civic Source. So I just want the public to be aware this is an option that we've considered, and we think it's the best option for the people that took part in this sale. So, questions or comments? Commissioner Howe?
Thank you, Chairman. Just as I continue thinking about this $1.328 million, some of this goes to maybe banks or whatever that hold mortgages on some of these properties potentially. There may be contract liens potentially filed on some of these properties. And in fact, there may be some equity available to some of the property owners who may actually receive some of the money as a consequence of the sale. If all the debts have been paid and there's leftover funds available, that goes back to the property owner. Am I right about that?
So I will defer if anyone else wants to speak to that. But yes, in general, well, Justin looks like he wants to speak, so I'll just defer to Justin.
Oh, Justin, sorry. Thank you, Chairman. Justin Wagner, County Councilor. I think Chris McElgan, our outside counsel from Clint Osterman, might be able to speak to this, certainly better than I could. I think Lindsay would do a great job, but I think Chris could speak to that.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Commissioners. To answer, provide a little insight, Commissioner Howe, you're exactly right. Once the properties are sold at the sale, and there is a process by which we follow a formula imposed or approved by the Kansas Court of Appeals, where those sale proceeds are spread over all the obligations. All the costs of the sale get paid first, so there's no budgetary outlay by the county, number one. Number two, the rest of it is spread across the ad valorem property tax liens that the county is required and you're duty bound to foreclose and collect. Once that is done on any parcel for which there are additional funds over those amounts, like you said, equity, go to pay the IRS, Kansas Department of Revenue, Mr. Roofer, who has a mechanics lien, mortgage companies, whomever. And at the end of the day, those funds are continued to be held in court, requiring those stakeholders and those excess proceeds to come forward and establish their entitlement. Ultimately, those will get dispersed out according to those motions, and those folks are paid. In the event that no one comes forward, which is often the case, then that money is held for approximately a year by the district court and then ultimately is paid to unclaimed property with the Kansas Treasurers.
And the state's debt set-off program is part of the one of the debtors that potentially would receive some of the funds if there's anything in the state's debt set-off program against that property or against that property owner, I should say.
Yes. And again, that has to be approved by the court. So there's total transparency as to stakeholders coming in and asserting a claim to those funds. Sometimes there's a bankruptcy trustee. There's a myriad of folks that would have a stake or a claim to all or part of those excess proceeds.
Are the debts always tied to the property, or can the debts be tied to the property owner? In other words, let's say there's a unpaid child support, for example, that might end up as a claim against the property owner, for example. I don't know if that's something that gets involved in this or not.
Right. From an elemental standpoint, the ad valorem property tax liens for which are foreclosed, there's no personal liability. Okay. That's just a claim against the property. As to the excess proceeds, you're exactly right. If I'm in the unfortunate circumstances of having a judgment against me, there's a judgment lien holder or an unsatisfied child support obligation, again, those type of individual obligations which have been reduced to a lien, then whoever holds those liens or enforcement rights to those obligations can come in and make application to those excess proceeds.
Yeah. This probably isn't a question for you, but I'll just make a question and see if Lindsay answers this one or not. But I've been very proud of Sedgwick County. People always talk about, people don't pay their taxes. That's not fair. I always make the point, well, there's actually interest applied to unpaid taxes. That's part of this as well, right? So the interest that's on delinquent tax is also applied to this. And again, I think most of the time these properties sell for a price point that at least makes the county whole. I believe we pay ourselves. The county taxes are probably on the front end of that. Whoever receives any funding from the sale, I think the county or the government probably receives funds maybe before other people in that line of payments. We would probably get made whole first. And having said that, I think that the county actually rarely ever has to forgive any tax debt because it simply is collected at the tax sale. I mean, we generally get made whole most of the time. I think very little is not paid back.
If I might speak to that, over the many years that we've done that I've been involved in doing tax foreclosure, I think that there are two aspects. That the tax foreclosure process starts far in advance of when we get to the sale.
Right. The
sale is the last ditch. In this year's cases, we started with approximately 850 parcels. At the end of the day, we went to sale with between 80 and 85 parcels. So we have a 90% rate of where, through our efforts, parties have come in and redeemed the properties by paying the full amount of all taxes and the expenses associated with foreclosure. So that is the main goal, and that's where we recoup most of the money. That when you get down to this 80, You're right. Many are fully pay the tax obligation through the sale, but there are some, for whatever reason, the fair market value of the property or the sale value of the property is not even close to the tax lien. In those cases, the goal is get that property into a new owner's hands who will make good on payment of taxes in the future. But what I would call the escaped uncollected amount at the end of the day through the process is very minimal. So your observations are correct on that, Commissioner.
I sure appreciate your expertise on this, and it's I think overall it's a fairly good process. I hate it when people lose their property. I'm actually writing a bit of a paper for myself just to kind of work through the policy thought on how is it that someone can lose a property to unpaid taxes. It seems kind of unfair or maybe mean, but there's actually really smart policy behind why that is. And there have been some communities in the history of our country that have tried to be less stringent on that consequence for unpayment of taxes, and those communities just fell apart quickly because if someone doesn't pay their taxes and there's no consequence, then basically no one pays their taxes. And so there have been people who've tried that and it hasn't gone well. But having said that, I really don't like this conclusion most of the time. I think it's a very unfortunate realization of how government works, and I would like to see people never have to go through a tax sale. But having said that, sometimes it seems like it has to happen. And in this case, I don't know what else to say. I probably need to not say too much here, but I'm extremely disappointed in the fact that we have to pay taxpayer money to make this whole. And I sure hope that we can redeem this by having this company do the right thing and we receive our payment down the road. That would be the very best outcome. And I hope that's what happens here. And we will be working, I'm sure, very hard with them and whoever we can to make that the right outcome. But if this ends up being a burden to the taxpayers, this is, again, to all the creditors out there that would receive some of these funds, they did nothing wrong. They deserve their money through this process. And so, unfortunately, we're left holding the responsibility to make sure this all comes together and all the money gets collected and goes where it needs to go. And we trusted this company, and unfortunately, we didn't have everything in place maybe as good as we maybe could or should have. And so we have, I think, some things to learn from this. I know managers are probably already thinking about this. I know I am. I think Charter 68 needs to be maybe some things may be added to that, so this type of situation can never happen again. I think there's some opportunities here for us to maybe add some protections to ourselves. I'll make a point here. We actually did follow Charter 68 currently as it's written. We did not violate anything. Everybody followed the processes that are currently in place. No one did anything that wasn't allowed by the processes and procedures that we currently have defined for county government. I just think there's the responsibility, the treasurer's office that basically made a decision to use this vendor that wasn't a normal process for the county government. That's the process that was allowed by law, but that's not where I want to be in the future. So I would like to see us take a look at that in the future, maybe address financial obligations to the county. And I think just fundamentally, it would have been better for us to receive these funds. I know it's probably not, it's more work for the treasurer's office, but it'd been better for these payments to be made to the county, and then we would have paid back the vendor for their costs for what work they performed. I believe it's $15 per transaction is what their take is. And so had they paid the county, we would have paid them their wages, so to speak, for their work. We wouldn't be in this situation. So I think if we ever use online auctions in the future, I hope that that's the process we follow. I'll stop talking because I've said too much already, but I'll support this motion today, but I'm extremely disappointed that we have to do this. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good. Other questions or comments? Okay. Thank you for Chris. Thank you, Lindsay, Justin, Shannon. Thank you for being here. So because there's a lot of pending discussions that are happening, I think it's most appropriate to just make sure that we're taking care of these transaction holders.
Yes.
And then we'll continue this conversation, and the Communications Department of Sedgwick County and the Commission will continue to communicate to the public. But the most pressing matter is to make sure that people that acted in good faith, that this county honors their good faith. So, okay, I'm going to I'm going to make a motion to approve the recommended action of item E.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Bubaugh?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's keep moving. Next item, please.
Item F, consideration of a service agreement with Trio Community Meals, LLC, for the Older Americans Act Nutrition Congregate and Home Delivered Meals Program.
Hey, good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Stephen Shaughnessy, Director of the Department of Aging and Disabilities, Central Plains Agency Area on Aging. Here for consideration of a service agreement with Trio Community Meal. For a little bit of background, the Central Plains Area Agency on Agency receives OAA federal dollars as a pass-through from KDADs. The OAA Title III C1 and C2 are part of the Older Americans Act that provide critical nutrition services for older adults ages 60 and older, with C1 focusing on congregate meals and C2 focusing on home-delivered meals. Current contractor Everfull entered into an agreement with CPAAA to provide meal services for consumers under the OAA program starting October 1, 2025 to run through December 30th, 2026. Everfull submitted notice of intent to end services effective December 31st, 2025. This contract is reassignment of the nutrition services from contractor Everfull and assign services to Trio Community Meals, LLC. The new contractor Trio will provide congregate and home-delivered meals to eligible older adults in Sedgwick, Harvey, and Butler counties. This essential service decreases social isolation and enables older adults to remain in their homes in the community. I'm happy to stand for any questions about the agenda item or the contract, which you should all have received a copy of.
Stephen, I just want to say thanks. You're fairly new to this role, and you walked into I wouldn't call it maybe a crisis situation, but an urgent situation to make sure that we had a contract in place to serve a lot of individuals. This is one of 5 contracts that we have for congregate and home delivery meals.
Correct.
The public would know a lot of this is Meals on Wheels. Do you know how many individuals Trio would be serving?
It would be about 8,000 meals between the C1 and the C2 service for the 12 sites that they would be taking on.
It's significant. This is significant. Many of these people are vulnerable, aging adults, and they're dependent on these meals. So I just want to thank you and your staff and everybody that's been involved in finding a stopgap as quickly as we could. So I know that was a lot of work. There's some continual discussions that we're having to understand these processes and these programs, but thank you so much for the actions that you've taken to get this in place. Questions? Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Chairman. Just looking at the back page of this agreement, and it says the rates are, and it has congregate and home delivered meals. It says $6.85 per meal plus applicable sales tax for the congregate, and $7 per meal plus applicable tax for the home delivered meal. So just help me understand, where's that money come from and who's receiving the money, and is there other funds involved in this? Because that doesn't seem like the right numbers to me.
So the dollars start from OAA. They're passed through to us from through KDADs. We get an allocation from them. There is a small match from the county for these services, but that's essentially the unit cost. So that's the cost of the actual meal, and then we provide NGAs to the subcontractors with thresholds for the amount of meals we expect them to provide on a monthly basis.
Do you know what the total cost is for a home delivered meal is currently? The total cost, not just the $7, but you said there's match money involved and there's other funds required for this program to fully deliver that meal. Do you know what the total cost would be?
That's the total cost that we're paying the subcontractor.
Okay. Well, I guess Lindsay says. Okay, she'll get the numbers later.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember a much higher number than that from years ago, so I'm just wondering I must either be confused or misremember, or there's something I'm just
I
missing
could
here.
clarify that current subcontractor, Everfull, is charging us almost $13 per meal unit cost. So this is a reduction.
Really? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's good to note that. I hope the meals are good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Other questions on this? Commissioner Blubaugh.
Thanks, Chairman. Whenever we had our one-on-one, we kind of discussed the distribution and stuff. Is that model still pretty much the same, or do we see any challenges with the distribution model that we have today?
So the biggest change with moving from current subcontractor to Trio and then Senior Services, Inc. is also taking on some of the sites as well. We already have a contract with them, so it's just adding to that. But the only change will be that Trio will no longer be managing the actual congregate sites, providing an actual staff person. So we are working individually with the different sites, mainly senior centers, to put into place a new process for what that will look like at the senior centers.
Okay. And one of the things we kind of discussed with some of the senior centers wanting additional funding, maybe we could talk about additional responsibility and help us out with this. So appreciate everything you guys do and appreciate everything they do right now with the distribution of these meals. Thanks.
Very good. Okay. Other questions? Okay. Seeing none. Stephen, appreciate it very much. Very helpful. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the recommended action of item F.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blubaugh.
Aye.
Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Okay, moving on. Next item, please.
Item G, report of the Board of Bids and Contracts regular meeting on December 11th, 2025.
There he is, most popular guy in Sedgwick County, Joe Thomas.
Thank you for thinking so, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Joe Thomas, Purchasing Director. And this morning we have 6 items that came from the regular meeting of the Board of Bids and Contracts on December 11th that we're presenting to you for your approval. Our first item is change order number 2 for the road improvement project as designated as R353. This recommendation is to accept this change order from Pearson Construction, LLC, in the amount of $46,656.10. Our second item is road improvements, project R264-124 for Public Works. This recommendation is to accept the low bid from Pearson Construction, LLC, and that's in the amount of $209,773.95. The third item is also a road improvement, R384 for Public Works, and this recommendation is to accept the low bid from Phillips Southern Electric Company. It's in the amount of $181,823.50. Item number 4 is the Sedgwick County Elections and Records Management remodel for project services, and this recommendation is to accept the low bid from Votes Construction Company. It's in the amount of $924,000. Item number 5, Sedgwick County Courthouse Annex Remodel Phase 2, Project Services. This recommendation is to accept the low bid from Multicon Incorporated in the amount of $1,076,800. Our final item, item number 6, is the Adult Detention Facility Annex Boiler, Water Heater, and Storage Tank Replacement for Project Services. And this recommendation is to accept the low bid from Cruz Corporation in the amount of $144,885. So I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you may have and recommend approval.
Okay. 5 items here. Any questions, Commissioners? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations of the Board of Bids and Contracts, December 11th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blubaugh.
Aye.
Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Joe, thanks, sir. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Okay, let's keep moving. Madam Clerk, next item.
Consent agenda.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Chairman and Commission. Tom Stolz, County Manager's Office, recommending approval of consent items H through W on the regular agenda.
Okay, looking at consent agenda, one of these items, I see Sheriff Easter is here. One of these items is on the Fast Pass, which Sheriff Easter has recommended some adjustments, but also to make sure that program is still intact and moving. So if there's any questions on that in particular, the Sheriff is here, and he's advised and consented on that at every step of the way. So Okay, any questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items H through W.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Blubois.
Aye.
Commissioner Wise.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner.
Aye.
Chairman Beatty.
Aye. Okay. There's a lot of work that was done in that consent agenda, so thanks to all the staff. That a lot of service agreements, a lot of senior center agreements, IDD agreements, so a lot of work went into that, so thank you to all the staff. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item.
Committee reports.
Okay, commissioners, any committee reports you'd like to report out to the public? Okay. Seeing none, next item, please.
Other.
Anything under other?
I'll do so. I just wanted to, we're approaching the end of the year, and this is our last meeting, right?
It is.
But, one of the, just reflecting in the last week in our community, some of this is in our county, some of it's just in the city of Wichita, but I was able to attend, some of us were able to attend a couple weeks ago on a Saturday, the opening of the Mayor Carl Brewer Community Center, and it was quite an event and a real success for that neighborhood and for the city to have, and recognizing Mayor Brewer's name in honor of him. I know Commissioner Blubois served with him as well, was good friends with him. He's passed away. But also, 2 days ago, all of us, I think, attended the 40-year anniversary of NIAR, the National Institute of Aviation Research, and it was a large, Senator Moran and Secretary Duffy was here. We all were here in support of that. It's 40 years, about hundreds of millions of dollars of investment into the Wichita and into the city over the years for research in aviation, which is as the air capital of the world. I thought that was worth noting. It was on the news a little bit, and then following that, some of us, I think most of us, attended in the county world. Mr. Ruffin, Phil Ruffin, opened up Gillies up there on the Gillies, what's it called? Gillies.
That's it?
Yeah, it is. And anyway, about $180 million investment up there in Park City. And it was a thank you, everybody, for being there. And it was well attended. And that's another huge addition to the community. And then lastly, yesterday, the city council approved an expansion of the Starbond district up there in the district that I represent up in Greenwich and 96. And it's about another $160 million investment on expanding that as an entertainment destination place in that Starbond. So a lot of positive stuff. We've talked about the building the hospital and the bioscience center and some other great events, and the homeless shelter, so we've had a lot of good year stuff, but there just recently in this last 10 days been some really, really outstanding stuff, and I want to congratulate everybody that's involved in it, and we as the county and as commission support all of our fellow cities that do good work, and so that's just wanted to report. So thank you.
Okay. Under other, anything else? I've got two things real quick. Yesterday, the American Red Cross did their Tribute to Heroes. It's an annual event that they do to where they basically, the tagline is that they want to honor ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And it was a remarkable breakfast and presentation. One of the individuals that received, I think it was 6 individuals or organizations total. One of those individuals was one of our own. He got the Brian Ellis. He's the operations manager for emergency management. Brian got the Lifetime Hero Award in this deal. That was a big deal. And I was reading some of his bio. He started as a volunteer firefighter in Mulvane. Then he spent some time at Sedgwick County Fire District 1, Harvey County Emergency Management. Now, as I said, he's the operations manager at Sedgwick County Emergency Management. But this one stuck out to me. As you know, American Red Cross, obviously with blood and platelets, and they serve over 100 hospitals here in this region. But Brian has volunteered more than 11,800 hours with the American Red Cross over the last 6 years. And that's just remarkable. And a lot of that is a vital role in disaster cycle services what the American Red Cross does. So I just wanted to make sure that all of us here at the county and all in the public knew that Brian was given the Lifetime Hero Award at this tribute yesterday. And it was a pretty big deal. Those in emergency management, they keep stacking up wins in their trophy case, a lot like finance and a lot of the organizations that we have here in Sedgwick County. So I just wanted to call that out, make sure Brian knew how proud we are of him and how grateful we are for the service that he does to this community, because it is significant, very significant. So congratulations, Brian. And I also want to echo Commissioner Meitzner's comments. There's still a lot of business to be had here before we close out the year, but this is the last county commission meeting of the year officially. And there's just a lot that has taken place this year. Commissioner Meitzner did name a few things that are happening that are rather sizable in behavioral health and workforce and the staffing stuff. But I just want to give a very loud and grateful thank you on behalf of the commission to the upwards of 3,000 employees that work here at Sedgwick County, doing all the things that they do this year. As I mentioned earlier, 46 departments, a lot of public safety and health and public works, and public service comes in different variety forms. Some of it is elected, some of it is through management and administration, but the bulk of what we do here is providing services to people, and these services are instrumental and consequential to the way they live their lives. So, and I'm deeply proud, and I can speak on behalf of the commission, that we are deeply proud of the employees that do the work here at Sedgwick County government. So thank you for a successful 2025, and we feel really confident and hopeful heading into 2026 about where Sedgwick County is positioned and the things that we'll continue to do. So really, really proud. I think Sedgwick County government leads the way regionally of efficiency, operations, morale. I just think that we're doing something really special here for this community. So of the 3,000 people that work here at Sedgwick County government, thank you on behalf of the commission for everything that you've done this year. So yeah, I think that's worthy of a... Okay.
And even Madam Clerk.
And even the Madam Clerk, yes. Okay, anything else under other? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Executive session.
Okay, we do have an executive session today. Commissioner Meitzner will make a motion.
Yeah. Are we wanting to start now? We want to take a break?
Chairman Justin Wagner, County Councilor, I think the intent was to recess the meeting until around noon and then to have your executive session motion at that time. I apologize if there's any lack of clarity on that. But
right. So what we'll officially do then, we do have an executive session today, but our executive, because of how fast we do meetings here at Sedgwick County government, how proficient they are, then the official action is that we need to recess and we will come back at noon. So
that's correct, Chairman.
Would you like to make a motion and then go ahead, Justin.
Actually, just to clarify, I don't believe there needs to be a motion from the board. I think, Chairman, you could just say that the board is recessing, that you'll reconvene here at noon.
Okay.
Then at that point is when the executive session motion
will be made. We'll move into a motion. Okay. So you heard it from the councilor. We are going to take a recess, roughly 2 hours, and we will regather here at noon for some more action. So we are officially recessed till noon. Okay, everybody, quick reminder, we had recessed about 10 a.m. Until noon, and now we are going to head into an executive session. So we have a motion for that. Commissioner Meitzner.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session for 4 hours, that's FOUR, hours, until 4 p.m. to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel relating to a management position, and that the Board of County Commissioners returns to this room from executive session at 4 p.m. That's my motion.
Okay, that's a motion. I'll give it a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Buba?
Aye.
Commissioner Wise? Aye. Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner?
Aye.
Chairman Beatty?
Aye. Okay, we will return at 4 p.m. See you then. Now, I don't know if you Okay, we are back. It's been a rather long day, but not really sitting here. We were only here for an hour earlier today, so we just returned from executive session, and there was no binding action taken in executive session today. So is there anything else that needs to come before the commission? We're good? Okay. 4 o'clock. We're officially adjourned. Have a good day.